Namaste friends. Today we are going to learn about the chapter from standard 10th applied history. So there are three types of the histories that we always learn. Those are ancient history, medieval history and modern history as well. So just include this one among them. So there are four types of histories that we have to learn in day to day's lives. So, first of all, we should know the meaning of applied history. What is the exact meaning of applied history? Applied history means it is the application of the history in all the stream, in all the subjects. So it means that many people don't know the meaning of history or what is the importance of the history in their subject or in their streams, or whatever they have chosen as their career. So there are histories behind every subject. It means that each subject has its personal history. For example, maths. So it has also the history. For example, Ramanujan is there, who was the great mathematicians. So then Kaprekar is there, D. Kaprekar is there. So such mathematician has done their work in histories. Okay, so we take help of such a great mathematicians to study the maths. So this is the example of applied history. It means that history is applicable in maths as well as it is also applicable for all the stream and subjects such as Marathi is there, science is there, philosophy is there, okay, so many arts faculty, humanities. So these are the examples. Whatever the subject we learn every day now. So every subject has its personal history. Even we have our personal history. The human beings has also the personal history. For example, we are there. So we have the history of our ancestors. So what our ancestors were doing, how they performing the work, okay, which things they used in their daily lives, what work they do, okay. So their work, their lifestyles shaped us. So whatever we are here right now, whatever the life we are surviving, whatever the lifestyles has been changing from earlier to right now, so that everything happens because of the history, and that all the things are explained and expressed by the applied history. That is the exact meaning of the applied history. Applied history, it is also the public history. It is for the public. It means that it is for all. Okay, it is not only for the students who are pursuing the higher degrees or the scholars of the history like historians. It is not only for them, but it is for all the people. Okay, so this is the exact meaning of the history. There are such a misgiving among the mind of the people that history is a very boring subject. Only the students who are just getting the higher degrees of history, okay, they can only take the interest in history, and the historians and archaeologists, they have to just study the histories. So such as the misgiving in the minds of the people. So such misgivings are overcome by the applied history. Okay? It means that applied history overcomes such misgivings in the minds of the people, and it's openly express that it is the medium of the expression, and it is a medium of expression and shaping the life of the people through the stream, whatever they have chosen to make their career in future. So this all expressed by the applied history that we have to know. For example, suppose someone wanted to become an architect in future. So the person should know the history of architecture. It means that how in early times humans construct temples, which type of the temples they have constructed, how the pillar were carved out, or how they made the design on them, which instruments, which tools they used to construct the buildings, the temples and pillars, everything. How the rock cut caves has been carved in early people before 3,000-4,000 years ago. People have carved the rock cut caves from the big a massive rock, that all the things the person who wanted to become architecture, that he or she know these things. So from where these things he will learn? So he has to take help of the history. Okay, it meant that this is the part of applied history, but it meant that the history of the history of architectures is the applicable for the students who wanted to become architects. So this is uh, it meant that this is for all the students. Look, whatever the student wanted to uh, do in future, whatever the career they have to choose, so they have to just learn, they have to just go through the history of their related stream. Okay, that is the applied history, that explained and expressed by the applied history. Okay, it means that whatever the topic you have to learn, whatever the topic you have to choose, so that topics should be studied deeply with help of the history. Okay, so this is the exact meaning of the applied history. Now we have to just discuss about our next topic, that is applied history and research in various fields. So we came to know the meaning of applied history. Now we have to just discuss about the research in various fields such as philosophy, science, technology, industry and commerce, management studies, arts and humanities. So let us have a discussion about the philosophy. That philosophy, what is the philosophy? Philosophy means the great thinking. Okay. So, for example, if a philosopher wanted to express something, so that the philosopher should know the language and expression, mode of expression, and that language and expression he had to take help of the history in ancient time. It means that in the Vedas, Puranas, so many philosophical quotes are there. So such quotes they have to construct. So for that they have to read the Puranas and epics and Vedas. So by reading the epics, Vedas and Puranas, the philosophicals came to know how the quotes or how this philosophical language he has to used while writing the philosophy. Okay. Uh, for example, Karl Marx was the philosopher. He has written so many philosophical works. So next stream is science. So many people or students know that science is only the subject, a special subject. There is not a history behind it, but it's a wrong. Actually, I have already told you earlier that every subject has its personal history. So in this way, science has also its personal history. It means that in the past, scientists were there. They have made a invention and discoveries. For example, in the early, if we think about the early humans, so they have made invention and discoveries of fire, stones, tools, etc. Now, so the recent scientists or the students who are learning in science, they have take help of that invention and discoveries and just adding new things, new invention and discoveries, or just they have just making those tools or making the tools or weapons, whatever invented or discovered earlier, just advancing them. Okay, it means that science how to take help of the past event or the history. Okay, so next point is technology. Science is the base of technology. With help of the science, technology is developed. See, in earlier many people used technology. First of all, early humans used their hands to uh, dig out the land to get the roots. Okay. Later on, they use stone. You make stones tools. Okay. Later, they invented the wheels. Okay. Now, technology. मतलब the students who are learning technology have to take help of such a previous history. Okay, the event related to technology which happened in the past, they have to study it. For example, invention of the wheel. So, wheel is already invented. So, by using that multiple wheels, humans in present time made the machines. Okay, it means that the wheels turn into the mechanism for the production. So this is the technology. In earlier time, human invented farming. Okay, sorry, human discovered farming. So right now the production of farming is increasing with help of the technology. Okay, see, as the British came to India, they ruled over India and they launched railway in India. So first railway, it was very slow, not advanced, not developed. So after that, developed an advanced train such as bullets has been came up. So that is the example of the technology. It means that technology also take help of the history. So that is the history of application. It means that applied history for the technology. Next is industry and commerce. In early time, as we all know that barter system was existed in early time. Okay, barter system means to change the things. Okay, that is a barter system. Later, if you know about the early civilizations, so there were also the industries and trade as well as commerce were going on between the civilizations. It means that the people from one civilization moves to other countries or other areas to sell their productions. Such a event, such a remains has also been found of industries and commerce in civilizations. So next, that is the part of applied history. Next is management study. So the nature of human being is changing day by day. So how the early people were, how was the nature of the people earlier, and now how the nature of the people has been changing. That the sailor or the person who is interested in marketing should know. Okay, what are the how is the response of the people, what are the needs of the people, what they require. These things should be known by the sailor or the person who is interested in management studies, so that he should know the nature of the person, demands of the person, and their needs of the persons. So these things we get from the history. That is called the applied history. It means that the history is also application in the studies of management studies. So management studies teach the students the history of management. Next, art. So art is a special branch of knowledge. The art, there are so many arts. Arts used to perform in history as well. For example, rock cut caves as agenda. Many paintings are there. So that is the examples of the art. So how the paintings has been derived, how the early people used to make paintings on the rock cut caves. So that an artist should know. Okay, so the artist should also study the things regarding the art in history. It means that history is also applicable in the field of art. So our last point is humanities. So humanities includes anthropology, economy, political science, such streams are there. So these history, such humanities like political science, economics, anthropology, they have also their separate history. That everything pursues the higher education in such streams such as political science, economics. So they have also their personal history. Suppose the students for economic have to study the history like demand and supply, how the demands were there in the past and how the demands are there in the present, how were demand and supply were there, situation were there, and how is the demand and supply situation is presented. That all the things should be studied by the students of economy. Okay, the same thing is about the anthropology and political science. So politics is also the things which coming from early times, such as in early times kings and queens were there, emperors were there, how they were ruling, how their administration was there, were there. So all the things were students who acquiring knowledge from the political science have to study from the history. So this is the application history. In short, history is applicable for all the people and all the branches of knowledge from which we are perceiving our degrees, our knowledge. So applied history is a very essential point in all the streams. Whatever you wanted to become, whatever you wanted to become, you want to become your career, you should know the history of that particular stream. Suppose you are appointed as a officers in a particular office, but so that you should even know the history of that office, the history of the person who were working on your place earlier. You should also be known about the nature of the person. That is also part of the application. That is also the part of the application. Okay, I hope you understood all the things regarding the applied history. If you understood and if you like my video, kindly if you wanted to get some real knowledge regarding this, I am and really try to share that one things also. Thank you very much.